right, we're back with another episode of Prime Parents, brought to you by, as you'll see on the screen right here, repudesigns.com, repudesigns.com. Get online and get you some. Also, you can go and get you some Shane Coates jerseys. As my music turned back in, and make sure I put that on mute. Get some Shane Coates jerseys. Also, just go online to shop.cubuffs.com. Get you some of those also and support the big fella Shane Coates right up the middle of that defense for the Colorado Buffaloes. Also, go get you some SCO shirts. Go hard, SCO biz, SCO time, and so on right there. BigDoggChico.myspreadshop.com. Now, for not going to hold you up any longer, because what we have here is something special, as you guys have tuned in for. Y'all see on the screen right now, as we have the parents joining me right now of Shane Coates, the big man up the middle from Dayton, Ohio. Came over from Dartmouth College. We're going to talk and learn a lot about him through you guys' comments and through the questions I have. We're going to have just a candid conversation that you guys get to tune in on, and I'll bring them in right now. We have Mr. Sean, or should I say Sean and Janine, the parents of Shane Coates. Thank you for joining me on Prime Parents, and it's a pleasure to have you guys on.
Thank you for having us.
Chico.
Oh, man.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Let me make sure I got your volume level right, and listen to everybody in the comments. Let me know how the volume is out there. Thank you guys for joining me once again. It's a pleasure to have you guys on.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get started by just have you guys introduce yourselves. So for everybody out there that don't know, we have plenty of people who are fans of Shane out there. So introduce yourselves for everybody out there.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Sean, Shane's dad.
Yeah, and we have been married for 33 years?
Yep.
Four kids, and Shane is the baby.
33 years, 4 kids, and Shane is the baby?
Yes, the baby.
Is he the biggest?
Well, actually, I make them big. So all my kids, we have 3 boys and one daughter, and she's 6 foot, and my other boys are all 6'4", 6'5", and Shane is actually Colorado need to give my baby his inch because he's 6'4".
Right.
Oh yeah, they have a list at 6 foot 3, 275 pounds. So you guys say he's definitely.
Yeah. They need to give my baby his inch.
I'll say that too. When I was next to him on the field, I noticed how big he was like that. So I would say I think he's about 285 probably now. He's gaining that weight also.
Yeah,
what he is.
Yep.
Exactly what he is.
Yeah, and he's holding on to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We were excited to have him come over and just immediately jump into that leadership role for Coach Prime, and earning his number and earning his that L on his chest, like Coach Prime like to have the leaders and the dogs rather than captains or whatever like that. Just let's go back and talk about, first of all, how you guys felt when Shane first came to Colorado and making that decision.
Go first, because we both have different opinions, I think, on it.
Well, when I went to Colorado, it was a good experience. Wasn't really sure what to expect. Like Coach Williams a lot. So that was initially, that was the main reason we went for a visit out in Colorado. I mean, we knew Coach Prime was going to be there, but if you know football, you're not going to spend a lot of time with the head coach. So his position coach was really important. Actually, Coach Williams, because he was heavily leaning towards an SEC school, and then went out to Colorado and changed his mind.
And you're speaking about Coach Nick Williams, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Nick Williams up in Syracuse now, and he's been responsible for bringing in a lot of good guys to Colorado with his recruiting tactics and such. So shout out to him for doing this.
Yeah, Nick was at our house for about 6 hours.
He said he wouldn't leave him in the shade.
When she Shane got the call from Colorado, and I was like, Colorado. I was like, no, you're not going to Colorado. You already been, 12 hours East Coast. We're not doing that. And then I looked up their record. I said, why do you want to go to Colorado? They're like 1-11. And he said, well, Deion Sanders is going to be there. I said, no, he's not. Deion Sanders is at JSU. It's like,
I think he got hired at that time. I think
I hadn't heard it. If he had got hired, I had not heard it.
Yeah.
It's like they were 1-11, and why are you gonna do that? I was like, nah, we're not going to Colorado. I mean, that's too far, Shane. That's too far. But when Nick came, Nick just sealed the deal. Seriously, like that's a loss for Colorado, unfortunately. Yeah, he's a really good, and Coach Kelly.
Shout out to Coach Kelly too. Can you talk about the importance of how it is for recruiters and coaches to be able to recruit the parents and to win over the parents, not just the student athlete?
It's really important.
Yes, it is.
Hopefully that the parents are a little bit informed, because sometimes parents aren't informed and they go into the whole recruiting thing kind of not knowing what to do, which wasn't us or me and Shane at least. Just do your due diligence and understand that your son's going to be there for 4 years and not you, number one. But as parents, we want to feel comfortable that our son is in this program and new surrounding, and hopefully it's going to be a surrounding that's supportive of your son or daughter in what they're trying to accomplish. So yeah, parents, we definitely have the last word.
Most definitely.
For sure.
So and mom, so it's important to win over that mom and that dad. I guess I say win over. I guess I don't know. Should I say that? Just connect with. Should I say right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because yeah, because like I say, I think as parents we fill out the coaches maybe even better sometimes than the student athletes do.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk to some coaches and you've been recruited, so you done been through the process too. You talk to some guys and they just like used car salesmen. You're like, man, you're thinking in your mind you want to be respectful of them, but you're thinking, no chance. My kid's not coming here, not a chance. So you just definitely have to fill them out, and then of course after they leave, then you had that conversation of what you liked and what you didn't like. So yeah, we definitely went through that when he went into the transfer portal, because it was, I mean, tons of he was scheduling coaches coming in and out. So we definitely talked to a ton of coaches.
I bet, because coaches really value guys who have, and I tell these young athletes this all the time, coaches really value those guys who take their academics seriously, and Shane, of course, is one of those guys coming from, let's go back at his background, because you don't just end up in an Ivy League school just by mistake. I don't think so. So let's go back.
Well, I told Shane I was going to tell this. So Shane is just a naturally smart kid, and he's very auditory. So he's an auditory learner. So there's different learners, right? You can tell Shane something once and he gets it. Some people you have to write it down. They have to see it, touch it, tactical. But Shane actually never liked school. He actually hated school. And so he never wanted to go. And so much that I thought he was being bullied. I'm like, what's going on? Do I need to come up there? Because I'm not mother. Like, what is going on? Why don't you? Do you want to be dumb? I'm just trying to figure it out. But I look at it and
we're talking about like the third or fourth grade.
but no, he didn't want to.
He didn't want to bully. You told him he's being bullied.
So yeah, but I didn't know. But looking back on it, I think that, and I'm being a young parent, though, I think that he was probably bored with it, because he's just smart, and he's the most well-rounded kid out of all of our kids that we have. And when I say that, I mean that Shane, he'll read Baldwin and also, Socrates or Aristotle. He has, Bach and Beethoven on a playlist along with Jay-Z and Biggie. So he's a very well-rounded kid, and he's just naturally smart. He's always been a leader. He was a captain on his high school team. He was a captain at Dartmouth, and was a leader here. He's a quiet kid, but not shy. Laid back, keeps to himself, all about his business. Always have been.
Nice. And you could tell that the way he came into Colorado and just coming in, taking care of his business, being that stand-up type of guy, having character, showing that character that he has, and you could tell he has that strong family background and morals and things of that nature. Let's talk about some of maybe the family values that you guys maybe instilled into him and to all of your kids also.
Well, for me, what I instilled is always, lead, don't follow. That was the main thing. And I was more the academics. Like, Sean was all about really the sports. I'm the, yeah, but listen, y'all, he wanted me to hold Shane back because of his size, right? He no, he yeah, he wanted he didn't right. We had a conversation. He didn't want me to start Shane. He wanted me to hold him back so he could be bigger at football. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not even Shane was listen, but that have messed him up. He'd have been graduated in the COVID year. That would have messed him up.
But he has always been like super young in his class. So his birthday is September 28th. So he's like almost a full year younger than everybody in his class. So that was one of the reasons I was thinking, well, okay, let's let him catch up a little bit. Not that he was always just smart. You the game, Chico. You the game. So that's why I was like, well, let's let him catch up a year, height wise. And but
when you have that late when you have that late birthday, when you have that late birthday, that's what happens. You have that option.
In Ohio, when I had Shane, you had to be 5 by September the 30th, and he was born September the 28th. So the rules have changed now. You have to be 5, I think, like August 30th. But yeah, we were not holding him back. I wasn't, not for football.
Hey, we try to take advantage.
Right. But then his whole year would have been ruined. That whole COVID year, that's when he would have been graduating. So that was a great decision I made.
You're exactly right, because speaking of that real quick, not to get off subject, but when I was out here talking to some of the kids that were at the camp this past weekend in Hawaii, and I see some of the talented guys, and I say, what happened to you? Why didn't you go to school? He said, oh man, I graduated right during COVID and our season got cut and we didn't get recruited. I was like, oh,
yeah.
And I see now, and I can understand that, because that year and 2 years, those 2 years was crazy,
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's go back.
That year he was here. He was here. He was at home that whole year doing school, actually. If I remember,
right after they came home and didn't go back.
Yeah, so it was almost like a year. He was did school for that whole year at Dartmouth. Yeah.
Man, I couldn't imagine that, right in the middle of trying to, elevate your game and get noticed and stuff like that. Then that happens, and some people just lost out. Period. But let's turn back the clock real quick. Let's talk about Shane's upbringing and such. You guys are from Dayton, Ohio.
Yes.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. Let's talk about the upbringing in Dayton, Ohio. Explain Dayton for the people who we have people from all around listening to this. Explain Dayton, Ohio, best you can in your upbringing.
Dayton is interesting, right? So Dayton has a lot of history. Obviously, if you go super way back, the Wright brothers invented the plane. Obviously, Dayton, Ohio.
Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Yeah, Dayton, Ohio.
Roger and Zapp.
Yeah, hey, the whole funk era. You can think Dayton, Ohio. You like funk from the 70s, Dayton, Ohio for sure, with all the groups that came out of Dayton. But so Dayton's always been a big industrial city as well, with a lot of General Motor plants, Chrysler, NCR. So a lot of families made good middle class money. up until really about the mid 80s, I would say. And then, of course, when companies start downsizing and moving the third world countries to, to get cheaper labor, we lost all the GM plants. We lost the Chrysler plant, NCR. So Dayton, kind of not, I would say, what it used to be. So, but at the same point, is it uh, tougher now than it was back in the 80s? Probably not, because Dayton's not a small town and it's not a big town, but it's a super fast town. So, when you're talking like 80s and 90s and, in that sort of era, Dayton was one of those towns that was a fast town. But if you fast forward to now, and when Shane was growing up, um, good town, good family town, but still a tough town too. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Almost maybe a small Detroit, I would say.
Nice. Shouts out to Dayton, Ohio.
Sir.
And how did you guys meet?
So, you want to tell the story?
Don't be judging. So
Internet version.
yeah, the quick internet version. So
Hey, this is like Shannon Sharp. This is like Shannon Sharp said. This is a safe
Right.
the year of truth. So one of my best friends, I was actually getting married to somebody else. And one of my best friends was in the wedding and she wanted to bring her boyfriend. And I'm like, you're not bringing him. I haven't even met him. So she was like, well, I'll take you to meet him. I was like, all right. So we're in the car, we're driving, we're getting around the corner, going to his house. And I saw this.
Internet version.
He was in the yard, just chocolate and fun. Listen, but listen, you always listen. I was very young when I got married the first time, like right out of high school, right?
Okay.
I wasn't interested. No, listen, I wasn't interested. I just thought he was fine. Fine is fine.
Okay.
Fine is fine. And I mean, he was built like a Greek god back then.
It's just random. It's just random. This is just random. When you guys were going, you just happened to see him.
No. My friend, we were on our way to meet. I was going to meet her boyfriend. Well, her boyfriend and Sean were best friends. They live next door to each other.
Gotcha.
Right. So we go over there and I'm like, well, who is that? She's like, that ain't nobody but Sean. So then I met her boyfriend, and then I met him too at the same, because they were best friends. I was like, well, both of y'all can come to the wedding,
Yeah.
So fast forward, it was a very quick marriage. Like 6 to 8 weeks later, I'm going out to the club, and they're not in the club, they're in the parking lot, because that's what they used to do. So I'm coming out and he's like,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm coming out the club, and he's like, oh, so hey, what's up? How's married life? I'm like, it's not. And he's looking at me all confused. He was like, well, wait a minute. Didn't you get married? I was like, not married anymore. And then we've been together ever since.
Wow.
Pretty much, that was the short version.
Let's hear the Superman version.
That was it.
That was pretty much it.
Pop say he swooped down like Superman. Saw you in that parking lot.
I ain't gonna do too much bragging. You know how I go in that PLP, and
Whatever.
PLP. If you know, you know.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So you guys meet, y'all hit it off immediately. Shouts out to Dayton, Ohio. And years later, you have the big fella. You got little Shane coming out, your baby boy coming out, right? When did you know maybe that he might be an exceptional athlete to where he can possibly be a Division I football player. Was his other siblings athletes also?
Yeah, all of
Yeah,
them were. Sean was a great athlete. He didn't play in college, but it
that's
was
our
it was by it was
middle
by
son.
choice. He went to Syracuse, and short, quick, funny story about Sean, right? So, uh, you a dad and kids and everything, and Sean looked good, right? We talk, good. Sean was tall, fast. He grew much faster than Shane. So by the time Sean was a eighth grader, shoot, he's like 6'2" and change. Um, what might be buck 90, well, maybe almost 200 pounds at that point. So by the time he got to be a sophomore, junior, he off the chart. He like 6'4", 230, cut, nice. I said, oh man, I got me one right here. He can always run all day long, super fast. So he gets to his junior year, good player, but I can sense like he's not in love with football. He's a good player, but he ain't in love with it. So he comes to me one day. Now, if you ask him, he don't remember any of this. But Dad, I remember, and I got the story right.
Yeah.
He comes to me one day and it's like, Dad, football's cool and everything, but I don't think I want to play in college. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? At this point, he's already getting 1 or 2 Division I offers, or not offers, but letters, getting letters already. So I'm like, know what you're talking about? Nah, I don't think I want to play no more. I'm like, man, listen, you tripping. You think I'm playing for college? You about your mind. Because I know you can go Division I. You can stumble into it at this point.
Right.
He's like, nah, that's not what I want to do. So I'm like, okay, but just know I ain't paying for no college. It's not going to happen. So you have to make it on your own. So he's like, okay, cool. Academic scholarship to Syracuse.
Full ride.
So
I mean, that was that motivation.
I was like,
in
Syracuse,
Syracuse,
but it was a learning lesson though.
yeah, Syracuse is no joke to get into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He got in the new house. If you, that's like their college for
it's journalism, media.
Number 2 college in the country for journalism. He got in there immediately. So like I said, I learned something. What I wanted for him and what he wanted was 2 different things, but his way worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
When you come to pushing them, I guess it was just a learning lesson to sometimes. Well, you should listen to them all the time. Daughter, she played Division I basketball at University of North Carolina, Asheville, and then Shane.
And my oldest son just he played basketball in high school. He played football, pee wee, but basketball was his thing. But he didn't play in college.
To have kids all over, or at least 6 feet. How tall are you guys?
5'11".
I'm 6'2".
Nice. 5'11" and 6'2". Y'all hear that out there? Y'all talking about y'all want to make some tall kids out there? Yep.
Right.
Don't get a short wife. I like short women too, but I'm just saying,
hey,
height-wise.
I already gave Shane his requirements.
Tell him. You want to share?
If she better be 5'10" or up. Don't 5'10" or higher. We gave out one exception, and that was it.
What was that exception?
Oh, my oldest son was married, and his wife was like 5'2". That was our only exception.
Oh, that was the one exception. Okay, I got you.
One exception. That was it. All
right. So Shane, you already know he's super smart. And the high school that he went to, Chaminade, Julian.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty well-known academic school about up in your area, right? Can you tell us about that school and how he ended up getting in there?
Great academic school. He went to a Catholic school in elementary, and so that was one of the schools where you would transition and go to a high school if that was the place for you. And then I totally forgot your question earlier, but backing up a little bit, when Shane, so when I thought Shane had talent to play college football was probably the 6th or 7th grade is when I could see a lot of good things in him. And at that time, he was actually playing linebacker. He's playing inside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So he played that up until the 8th grade, played basketball. And then his freshman year, he's still growing. So he moved to outside linebacker, but still played really, really well. So I was like, okay, this dude, he might have something. Um, and that was the point where I knew that there's just depending on where, because um, I don't, at that time, and now he's grown out of positions, but because of his size, but he could play anywhere in the front seven at that point. Offensive line, linebacker, anything. So now he could probably play anything except for inside linebacker. But yeah, that's when I knew that he was going to be a good Division I player.
Yeah.
When he got to high school at that point. That's I always say you don't know. In my opinion, I don't think you really know what your kid's gonna do until the 8th or 9th grade, because
I agree.
as you probably know too, you played with some playground all stars up until the 7th, 8th grade. Some of them didn't grow anymore. Some of them skills didn't get any better. Whatever for whatever reason, when they transitioned to high school, it just didn't work out. So
Yeah.
that's what I always tell parents, because I coached Shane up until I coached all my kids actually up until the 8th grade to junior high school. And I always try to tell the parents, yeah, you're not gonna really know what you got until I say freshman year, I would say. Then you know what you got. So, if you're a parent listening, I would say that that's the point where if your son will be able to play Division I, because he'll start to really stick out and stand out and start to grow on all those things. Um, so yeah, for him that's what it was. Yep, that's saying right there, 5th grade, 5th grade.
Fifth grade. That's a big boy right there in the 5th grade.
Yeah, he getting it in the 5th grade too. He was getting it. He was
Dang.
getting it. Yeah.
And we can see some of that Greek godness that mom was talking about right there too, old dad.
It was hot. It was
Yeah, man. That's CJ Pee Wee right there.
So
Shout out to CJ.
when coaching as a dad and you're coaching your son on the team, what are some of those challenges? We see Coach Prime coaching his sons. We see a lot of sure you even got Coach Mathis with his son on the team. I know it's not to that, I guess, extent, but it's still you're coaching your son on the team. What are some of the things that you might, maybe some challenges there, and maybe some pros and some cons for that?
So with me, um, I think in college it would probably be a little different. I don't know how that would be. So let's start with coaching them up to the 8th grade. So my big thing has always been teaching and learning. So Shane being a smart kid and athletic kid, he was able to pick up a lot, and I think that's followed him up until today. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a dad to baby my kids. That's not what I don't do. My kids, I'm the type of dad that's gonna be harder on his kids than everybody else. I
Yeah.
pull up on everybody else a little bit, but I know my kid, I know his potential, and I know what he can take and what he can't take. So I'm gonna push him all the way, and that's kind of how I was with all of them. Um, so, but as time goes along, high school, I didn't want to coach them in high school because I wanted to sit in the stands and enjoy that experience. So that's pretty much what I did. Just coaching him after the game and after practices and stuff like that in high school, and then colleges is at Dartmouth and Colorado. Just more phone conversations, talking about games, something you can improve on. And I give good and bad. I don't just give, bad or something that you need to work on all the time. I praise good things as well.
Right.
literally coaches, even after the college games, they have a whole conversation.
Yeah.
After every high school game, I hated the ride home because it was a whole conversation all night, a whole conversation after each game. Every game, even with my daughter basketball, a whole conversation.
I
Now
can.
he gets to sit in the, he got to sit in the stands in high school. I thought he was gonna chill out and relax. Nope. After the game, it was a whole conversation.
Well, I think I've been doing better though. Like because like so all your kids are different, and I've learned lessons along the way, right? So like with my daughter, who's yeah, my daughter. So she's the oldest of me and Janine's kids, right? The three, and then my stepson's the oldest out of everybody, right? But
Mhm.
so with my daughter, I learned valuable lessons with her because a great athlete, exceptional athlete. But and
She in the
if she,
chat.
hey, if Blake listening, you know I'm keeping it a buck because that's all I know how to do. Listen, I
Oh,
got to
that's Blake
drag
in
this
the
girl
chat.
to the.
That's Blake in the chat.
Oh man, listen, because she on her phone. That's why. I'm dragging this girl to the gym. She can listen. She can do everything. Shoot, dribble, defense, all whole 9 yards. I'm like, Blake, man, listen, man, you got that phone, man. You got to get off that phone. She ain't listening to me. So, but she made it good for everybody else because with her, I just got so tired. I was like, listen, I ain't doing this no more. So with the other two, I was like, listen, if you want to play, I'm there. If you don't, that's good too. So that's pretty much how they took it, which was a good thing because like I said, my oldest son, he made his own decision. And with Shane's football. And he's a smart dude. He's blessed with a lot of good things, but Shane's football. Shane hungry.
Yeah.
Shane the dude is always going to be successful. Wherever he goes, he goes to the league. He's just always going to be successful
Yep.
because Shane, you don't have to tell Shane to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one of the most impressive things that I've seen from Shane that I've seen from any college player that I've ever known or ever heard of. So his junior year at Dartmouth, he did a internship in New York City, right? So we're talking about the summertime. So he was up there the summer before his last football season at Dartmouth. So we got him a place up there to stay. He had an internship with Citibank, Wall Street, New York City.
Mm.
So hey, we
And
dropped.
a job offer.
Yeah, but he was up there. He was a paid
Right.
internship.
Yeah, but they made him
So
a job
he
offer.
went in the office 3 or 4 days a week. So did that grind. But here's with Shane's schedule. So we lucked up with a nice or decent place. So where he lived at, he was a lot of people probably don't even know New York, but he's at the bottom of the island. He's probably on 6'3" if I remember right, somewhere around there. But he's the gym got him a nice gym to work out at. Shout out to Crunch Fitness. He was maybe about 5 blocks from Crunch Fitness. Then he was about 4 to 5 blocks
From the park.
from a small park. I think it's Centennial Park. This is in
Yep.
Manhattan.
Yep.
This is in Manhattan. So here's Shane's day. He wakes up 5 o'clock, get himself situated. He go work out. Then after he work out, he go to that park and get his running in. He get his ladder work in, do all that stuff. Come home, take a shower, then go to Citibank, catch the subway to Citibank, go over there, do his internship, get off at 5 o'clock, and then that's pretty much the end of his day. And that was his schedule for Monday through Friday. So I never had to talk to him, never had to ask where he was. He was never late, always on his grind and always on about his business.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many kids that 20 or 21-year-olds, you set them in New York City and see if they're gonna do what they're supposed to do and not be partying,
Because Blake
drinking, smoking,
Blake
none of
sure
that stuff.
wouldn't have.
God bless Blake. She my baby. Yeah, that'd have been a different story. I'd have had to been up there about every week and her checking on her.
Nor Ryan, nor the oldest.
Sean probably would have been.
Sean would have been doing what he was supposed to do.
But yeah, Shane I just made sure he had everything he needed, food and all that sort of stuff. But he had a paid internship, so he was even taking care of that really. But
That's
on his
nice.
grind, never miss a day of work, never miss a day of work working out, never missed a day of running. Saturdays, he working out and running still. So a dude like that is always going to be successful.
Most
You know,
definitely.
you know, he's like that still today. And what he does in Colorado, you just don't have to tell him nothing. He does it because he loves the game and he loves to do it.
Right.
And I love that for Shane, that Shane wants to play for the NFL. But I see like past football. Football is fine. But Shane is really, I'm looking for Shane to be senator, governor, president. That's because he really is like a natural born leader. I told him I hope I'm here to see you running the country one
Yeah.
day, because that's what I see for him.
That's
That's
amazing
what
to
I see
speak
for him.
something like that
Yeah.
so highly into your child. I love that personally,
Yes.
to speak that type of stuff into your child, because if you don't speak it into him or you don't believe it, who else is going to believe it? You know?
No,
True.
no. And I know, football is his thing. He can't really see past football, but I'm seeing past it. Like football's not forever,
Yeah.
but you're with your brain. I mean, just like I said, he's just a naturally all our kids are smart, but
Hmm.
he is just naturally smart, and like I said, very well rounded. Because people think, kids that go to Ivy League schools are, nerds, or, I don't even have to go into that, but he is definitely not, nor is his circle of friends. They're not like black unicorns, because you get that a lot too. Oh,
Yeah.
you're so well spoken, you speak so well. No, well, how do you want them to sound?
Yeah.
What do you want them to say?
Exactly. A shout out to Marcellus Wiley, one of the Ivy Leaguers, defensive
Bucket.
Mhm.
defensive ends. Very good guy to kind of follow and you know, I guess you can look up to him as a mentor or someone to look at. You know what I mean? As a good person coming from the Ivy
Yeah.
League and making it into the NFL. And Shane is definitely leading in that way. And coming into his final year at Colorado last year, very productive, did his thing. But I know he's going to be even more comfortable this year. After getting a whole another year in the weights, learning the program, people knowing that he is a leader on the team. How do you feel like his mindset is going into his second year, in Colorado and his final year playing collegiate football?
Yeah, he's who he is. He's all about business. He wasn't sure if he was going to come back this year
Yeah,
because when Shane came from Dartmouth, he had a low a fifth round draft pick grade, so he wanted to up that, do a year, at Power Five level, and then go to the league. He played great last year, but his stats wasn't to his standards.
But he's also playing
So
out of position too.
yeah, well, yeah, with the
That's not his position
well, yeah,
for
because I
some
mean, it
that don't
was
know.
yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, he's like I say, he's a great athlete and a good player, so he can play anywhere in I'll say the front five instead of the front seven, with excluding the outside linebacker position.
mhm,
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, he played out of position in some of those, but he played very well at them. But stat wise, he has goals, and he has, he wants his stats at a certain number. He likes a double digit sack season. He likes a ton of tackles. So he wants to come back and get his numbers the way he likes them.
well, that's where he's headed with that final game he had. Based off of, I guess you can go to the website, it'll tell you this, but based off of that final game he had where he uh, played and started versus Utah in the final game, where he had what total of 9 tackles and 3 unassisted.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Uh, so that
yeah,
final
Yeah.
game
yeah,
is
yeah.
showing his mindset and going into with this season with that momentum. Maybe he can get those stats and such. But the thing is about the defensive lineman, all the time those stats won't show up, and
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think those scouts at the next level see those things. Maybe sometimes us as parents or fans or we want to see those double digit sacks, but
mm,
football is the ultimate team sport too, and I think those scouts see that and they want to see that production in the scheme also. Sometimes it's set up to get double digit sacks, sometimes it's set up for you to do your job.
yep. And let the linebackers clean up.
And
Exactly.
and you know what? The one of your parents' videos I watch, I think his name is Shadozi. His father made a great point where he told his son that you don't get to shine when you holding on blocks,
Hmm.
and letting other people, make the plays. You doing your part, so someone else on the team can make a play. You don't get and I don't know, like people don't understand that or what, because
Yeah,
sometimes these comments and stuff
your
just be
your
reckless.
average fans, all they see are the running backs, the receivers, and the DBs and the quarterback. 'Cause, that's the special team, or that's skill positions. They
Right.
really never pay attention inside the trenches. And to be honest with you, most of them can't, because if you that's one of those things where if you're not like a student of the game, or you haven't played, it's
Hmm.
going to be tough for you to follow the trenches, because you don't know what the gap responsibilities are. You don't know when a guy messes up and a guy doesn't mess up. But if you played before, and I played at UC in college, played linebacker for UC. But a lot of times you can't see those things. So sometimes when people are so hard on the offensive line or the defensive line, you know, I look at it in a different perspective and say, well, okay, well, you can blame them for some of it, but then other blame you got to put in other places. So
Yeah.
it is a team sport, but the trenches I think is something. I, the only thing people see are sacks.
Yeah.
They see the sacks, and
Yep.
that's what they pay attention to. They're not seeing when you take that double and a
Yep.
linebacker comes to make that tackle. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So yeah,
That's the beautiful thing about it. That's what I used to love. I think that's what drew me to football, because I was a baseball player probably first. That was my first love. But I for some reason, I used to just love to be in the middle in those trenches, and having a guy here, a guy there, and all that, to get 1 inch, 1 yard. I don't know.
yeah,
That was just that was just in me. And some people realize, understand that internal fight within the game, with with the trenches, and some people just don't see it. So we know the integral part that Shane plays on the defense, and in the whole team, should I say, as a leader, helping people get in their spot, being an example, doing the right thing on and off the field. Uh, I saw a comment here, speaking with his head up and not down. When you talk, making eye contact, all those little things make a difference, and his teammates see it also. I'll say this, because I got to make sure I get into you guys' background. We got into everything else, and you mentioned your football, but I got to get into your background. But I'll say this: I had teammates that always carried themselves a certain way. So as a young player coming in, there are certain things you won't do in front of those teammates. You carry yourself a little bit differently because you see that teammate is nearby and around. I think that's what Shane brings to Colorado, and especially to those young guys. He's been a great example of what Coach Prime is looking for when he says smart, fast, tough, and disciplined with character, especially. So that's
Definitely.
it's definitely a testament to you guys, his parents. So get into your athletic background real quick, mom and dad. Your athletic backgrounds, if any.
for mine, I mean, I grew up like most of the regular inner city kids. Played football, basketball, baseball. Always liked football the best. Good high school career, pretty good college career, and that's just
And,
in my
and UC, where's UC?
University of Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. That's
It's,
right.
it's, yeah. You see, that's what we call it. I know University of Colorado, I suppose, but yeah, University of Cincinnati. Yeah, Tim Murphy was up there at the time I was up there. He's up at Harvard right now. We used to see
Okay.
him in Ivy League games.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
played up in that stadium once. We came up there. It was snowing up in Cincinnati. I played at
yeah,
UAB,
Lippert Stadium. Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh,
you were at UAB. I
I was,
heard you were out of Munster Tiger. I listened to that podcast. Yeah,
yeah, yep." So we played up there. Y'all had some good players at Cincinnati. That was when dang, they had a good football coach up there too. I can't remember his name, but shouts out to the Bearcats of Cincinnati.
sure.
Yeah, and mom, you
Nope, I was a cheerleader.
got to have some athletic ability to be a cheerleader. Let my sister shoot. My sister's
I
age.
was I was not interested in basketball, even though I was asked that, because I was tall. People assumed that I played or wanted to play basketball, but no, I cheered, and that
Yeah.
was it. And I only cheered 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Shane. All right. Did you guys? Because we got to get to these questions, but I'm trying to hurry up and get through it. But did you guys go to a game this year? And what are your plans for games? Or this past year, what are your plans for?
Did we go to a game? We
We
went
went
to
to
all
all
the
the games,
games
yeah.
except for
Except for
Washington.
Washington State. Yeah,
Yeah,
Washington State.
Washington.
Washington
Yeah,
State.
that was the
Yeah,
only one we didn't go
yeah,
to.
Washington State.
Okay, well, let's talk
Colorado.
about the first away game, which is TCU. Then we're gonna talk about your experience, your first experience at Folsom Field. How was that game at TCU to get that upset down there? I played in that stadium also. That's crazy. But Horned Frogs down there, how was
It
it?
was it was great to get the win, but they were disrespectful to the visitor section. We were
Man,
like talking to
see,
God. It was hot, and we were the way where we
man,
were. It was horrible.
we
Like
were
it
way,
was so
yeah,
many. We had to come home and watch the game.
yeah. Because
We had to come home
we were
and
like
watch
up at
it.
the top, tip top,
And
in the corner.
next to the jumbotron. Like
Yeah,
we
I couldn't see the numbers on the on the jersey, so I could always tell how Shane looks because I know his body type, and then
Mm,
a couple of other players, but numbers, we so I couldn't even see them.
so glad we won because it was
Oh
real
yeah,
disrespectful.
yeah.
so
Their
you was
fans,
a fan?
were man, they wasn't bad, but they wasn't good either. They were running
Right.
their mouth before that game,
Yeah.
a lot. So we were like, okay, we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? That was the game where we saw Darius catch the footage of them saying, "Throw the ball to Travis. Travis, you suck. You suck." And then
Yeah. Those
they
guys,
threw it to him and he picked it
yeah,
off. Yep. Okay. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
man, it was real disrespectful down there. So
Yeah.
we got the win. Huge upset. Now the whole not the house, the whole country is enamored by what's going on in Colorado and Coach Prime. And Coach Prime tell you in the pregame, I told y'all, you believe now. Now,
Mhm.
can y'all talk about just that feeling in that moment right quick before even going to that first home game in Colorado? How was that?
For me, I mean, I was glad that they got the win, but I was happy for the players and the coaches too, because you know how it go with the media and talking about this and that, and what Colorado's not going to do, and then I'm gonna go ahead and call his name out, Big Mouth Luganbill, running his mouth talking about, oh, that's the worst. That's the worst roster I've ever seen. There's no talent on there. Yeah, he's as dumb as he sounds. And so he ate some good crow pie that day. So I love to see that. It was just an ignorant statement.
Right.
I mean, how do you think you have a Power Five team and there's no talent? The worst team is gonna have talent on it.
Exactly. That's crazy. Yeah, he just made a comment talking for no reason. And I was saying from the get go, man, if anything is going to be an upset, that game was going to be an upset because to your point, how do you even know to say that they have the worst roster? You haven't even seen them yet, and you know that they have talent if you watch any type of football. And Coach Prime even brought some good guys over with him. So to even make those statements was crazy. And I knew that it was primed and ready for an upset because TCU didn't know what to prepare for, and we're coming in that thing hot. We don't have the mindset of losing. You got a bunch of guys who all came from situations where they either played and they were successful or they didn't get the opportunity. Now they're super hungry. So I thought it was a perfect storm for them to get the upset, which is what happened. And then you got the whole country going crazy, going into the first home game in Colorado, which I was blessed to be at. How was that for you guys to experience? Um,
It was
Yeah.
something I was not used to.
Who was the first home game? Was that
Nebraska.
Nebraska?
It was
Yeah,
Nebraska.
that was a good one.
I mean, it was just blowed out
Yeah.
because coming from um, Dartmouth, I can't even remember what Dartmouth Stadium name would hold, what, 12 to 14,000?
Change.
Yeah, and then going to Colorado, and it was like no, sold completely out.
mm,
I was just saying, it was just seeing him on the field because I knew that he wanted to be, in the Power Five. It was a proud moment.
yeah, yeah,
It was, yeah.
for him to have all those accomplishments at Dartmouth on the football team, all conference and all these things there. I know he wanted to challenge himself and, like you said, either go to the SEC or just get to a Power Five level to challenge himself and to show what he can do is not just he's doing this on the Ivy League level. He can do this against anybody. He's a good
Well,
football player.
like he has mentioned before, people don't really give the Ivy League, players the respect they deserve, which
Yeah,
is
Some good players.
absolutely
They got some good players.
because one thing about the Ivy League, they never cared about football. Like the professors, if they had to make their own arrangements. If
mm,
you had a game during a test, you had to take that test, and guess what? You have to find your way to the game too, because
okay,
it was completely different. Because when my daughter played basketball at Asheville, they treated them athletes like they were gods and goddesses on campus. But the Ivy Leagues, they don't. Academics is first, then you
yeah,
But
play
exactly.
the
football.
good thing about that though is that they're like I said, every player or every team has a couple of players that are really good players and can play Power Five. But all of those players or most of those players know what it is to be hungry. And when you talk about playing for the love of football, them guys are there because they want to be there.
Yeah,
Yep.
So and that's cool to see. That's really cool to see.
and like Coach Prime always says, most of those guys will end up. Shoot, most of every football player on every team in college will end up being a professional at something else other than football.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah.
that's huge. Football it helps you and teaches you about life and things. But man, if everybody on the team talking about they're going pro, dog, you got to be real with yourself. You
Yeah.
got to be
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to get that degree. That's
And you
what's
got to get a
most
good
important.
degree,
Yeah.
not
A degree in
just,
something that you want to do.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to, go to, uh, go to school just cause, hey, I mean, keeping it a buck, we talk about the 70s and 80s and probably heck up until the 2000s. Folks is going to school to play football and do some other stuff, and class was kind of, low on the totem pole.
yeah,
But I hope that we've got that mind frame switched around now, and kids understand that how important that education is. Because on one hand, you're getting used for football and the program to sell tickets and all those sorts of things. So you do yourself an injustice if you don't get something out of it and get you a degree, which you'll have for the rest of your life.
right, right. Can you talk about Shane's major and what his degree is in, and what do you think he's planning? I heard what Mom said, but what do you think he's planning to do after football?
His undergrad degree he majored in government and minored in philosophy and digital arts. And then he's already has his master's. He secured his master's in organizational leadership. And now he's working on
Second best.
the second master in organizational management
I
or
think so.
something. He just had to sign up.
So, but it's a year program.
It's a year program, so
It'll
he'll
get
have
some-
another one.
Yeah, 2 Great.
Nice, two masters,
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
unbelievable.
and then after that, he's not sure what he wants to do. He's thinking after football's all said and done, maybe something in sports or entertainment management or something to that effect. So he's not really sure. One interesting thing, like we older athletes, we've done all that and working and all that sort of stuff. And I think one of the kind of funny things is it's tough for you to ask a 18 or 20-year-old person, what do you want to do for the rest of your life if it's not sports? And they actually have an answer and they actually know. It's
Yes,
laughable. You have no idea really what a lot of them have no idea what they want to do.
I was going to say earlier when you made the statement about him being in New York City and handling himself as a junior at Dartmouth. I went to New York City as a grown man, and I walked out there had anxiety. Like, man, I
Oh man, and listen,
was like, shoot, man. Hey, take me back down.
hey, Shane about it. If that would have been me, I ain't gonna tell no lies. That was me at his age. Oh man, I'd have been doing a little bit of everything up
You know,
there. New
see,
York City,
New York
man, come
City.
on, man, Manhattan.
So, hey, at that moment right there, you knew you had a good one. You was,
yeah. I was like, man,
goodness gracious.
yeah. But, and then it's funny because hey, I'm old school, so I always tell them to have fun too. I ain't that dad to be like, oh, you need to be doing this and make sure you're doing this.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm the dude that's like, hey man, when was the last time you went out to the club, man? You need to, go do something, go hang out, make sure you doing what you're supposed to do, well around us. Business is cool, but hey, you gotta have other activities as well. So, but he doesn't Shane doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. So I ain't gotta worry about him getting in trouble. He can handle himself. You know what I'm saying? So, he gets it in where he gets it in at. He has his fun too. He's at school. I don't know about now what as much as what he does, but Dartmouth he did had the parties and all that stuff and found time to fit that stuff in too.
Yeah. All right, we got some questions from the chat coming in now. I'll try not to hold you guys too much longer. It's been a great conversation. I appreciate you guys joining in.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Real quick commercial right here. If you guys tuning in, and I'm gonna get Mom to talk about this. Rep U Designs. I like these. All these graphics and merch that you guys have on your hoodies, t-shirts, and such. Different categories. Mom, can you talk about that real fast?
You know what? That's my t-shirt business that I just launched, and it's a hobby. I always say that if I wasn't as old as I was, I would go back to school for graphic design, and it's just something I like to do. So I decided to open. This is my second time because I did it before a couple years ago, and I had another business. I had a natural hair care line, and I just closed that after 13 years in September. And then I said, I'm gonna get back with the t-shirts. And it's just something that I like to do. It's a habit. I mean, not a habit, it's a hobby. And I can do it in my spare time. And I just think of designs and think of phrases and sayings and throw it on a t-shirt. Put it in my shop.
Exactly. Somebody might like it. You never know who will like it. Very nice. And also check out Shane. Get you a jersey. Support Shane. And shop.cubuffs.com. Just search Shane Cokes. You'll find his jersey there and get you one and represent for the big fella. Let me get to this question right here that I wanted to get to. Wait, not that one. This one right here. How did they come up with the name Shane? It's unusual, but I like it. Now I'll say it might be unusual to some. I didn't think it was unusual.
Oh, that's kind of it's not an average name, but I don't know how we came up. How did we come up with Shane? I really almost don't remember.
Reva Shane. Do y'all remember Reva Shane from
Reva Shane.
Guiding Light back in the day? The soap
Guiding
opera.
Light.
Her name was Reva Shane.
My mama would know that.
She didn't spell it like that, and I wanted an S because I had a Sean, so I wanted a Shane. I wanted an S name, and I love Shane. So yeah, that's how I came up with it. Really.
Nice.
Just like Blake's name came from the soaps too. Blake Thorpe.
I heard of that.
Blake was on the Roger Thorpe's daughter was named Blake, and
is that Blake too, or is that the Young and the Restless?
That was Guiding Light. Roger Thorpe. Yeah.
Okay, I know about the Young and the Restless and Victor Newman and Jack and.
Yep, that's Young and the Restless.
Listen to Chico. Listen, see now a lot of folks probably thinking like, what? They used to watch stories?
Yeah.
Why would you do it? Well, back when we was growing up, it wasn't all these channels. There was only 4 channels: ABC, NBC, CBS, and what PBS. It wasn't even out back then.
Yeah.
So what your mama watching? The stories during the summertime. Your mama watching the stories. What you watching?
Or your grandmother.
You watching or your grandma.
Yep.
And if you don't want to watch it, what you got to do?
Go outside.
And
shut the door.
Yeah. And don't be running in and out.
Don't be running in and out, and close my screen door and don't let any flies in the house.
You want some water? Get it from the water hose.
That was the best
come in, you stand in.
Man,
Generation X.
That was the best water. Y'all missing out all this bottled water and stuff. That was the best water.
Yeah, that hose is a bad boy, man.
Yeah, that green hose.
Yeah. Water always cold.
Always cold. I was just about to say that, man. Come on, man. We thought it was this one specific house that just had cold water. Shout out to Miss Belinda. I still remember her house and her name, the place we used to go drink water from, because it was right by the basketball courts. And Miss Belinda had the coldest water, we thought. So shout out to Miss Belinda.
Man.
What are the names? Miss P. Holland said. What are the names of his siblings?
And Blake, Sean, and Shane.
What was the first one?
It's Ryan,
Ryan, Blake, Sean, and
Blake, Sean,
Shane.
and Shane. Yeah,
Got
I definitely wanted names that if they read them off a row, they didn't know whether they were black or white.
People don't understand
Well,
that.
we be thinking
You know,
about
people,
that.
no, you really don't.
Hey, give your kids a shot, man.
Give them a chance. What
You
comedian
trying to
said
get that interview? Give your kids
Here's
a
a
shot,
shot.
man.
a comedian said that a long time ago, but it stuck with me. It made sense.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They read that resume. They see that first name, like, oh man, British. You know,
Yeah.
Mercedes.
And nothing is wrong with those names.
Yeah,
That's
nice
just what I
names.
wanted for my kids.
I'm just saying.
There you go.
They're gonna stick out that way. So yeah.
Big Dog, can you ask if Shane Cook, I guess he's trying to say Shane Cokes would be willing to move to DN because he too small. You'll be to be playing inside.
Well,
that's what Nick. That's what he was recruited for.
Well, let me help him out. So, like I said before, Shane can play any position on the line, but he's always played defensive end, and he's played the 3 and the 5 forever, right? And I think that's what they wanted him when he came to Colorado to play. But him being the best defensive lineman that they had, they needed him a little bit everywhere. First 3 games, he played nose guard, which I give you the buck. I hated it, but he took one. He took one for the team for the first 3 games, and then they jumped him outside. Coach Prime finally said, "Nah, put him to the 3. Put him to the 3 is pretty much where he played at most of the time, and then just a tad bit of 5." But this year, you'll probably see that change where I think they'll probably play him more at the 5 and then some at the 3.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have those type of games they had against Utah coming up this season. I think we'll see more games like that because of the position he'll be in, and just being comfortable in another year advanced. Also, I think all of that stuff helps, man. And then
Definitely does.
Then you can't forget you're going to have other guys around him that are doing their job probably at a higher level than probably we had last year. Just to be honest, you're going to have guys there around him that's going to help out too. So, and I'm gonna start reading these comments before I click on them too, y'all. Yeah,
that's all right. We ready.
God. Let me see. For the parents, did they participate in the Zoom call with coaches and player parents? If so, what are their thoughts on how the Colorado staff focuses on creating a family environment?
Yes, we participate in the players call. The parents call. I think they have some growing room. Because it to be very honest, it was completely different environment coming from Dartmouth to Colorado because the parents there, they're very well organized. And I'm not saying that Colorado is unorganized. It's just everything is new, right? So I think it'll be better this year. But they're getting it together. They're getting it together.
I think I don't know. I can't say like for all the Ivy League teams. I can only speak of the experience I had around football, Power 5 football, and some of of course, Dartmouth and then a couple other college places. But Dartmouth was very unique in with the parents. To me, it was the best because what they did was they did something where the parents paid a little bit, and before and after every game, all the player parents went to like this tent area. It was gated off, and it had a little refreshments and like a little snack before and after each game.
Yeah.
Parents got a chance to talk and and meet each other. So it was like 95% parents, and then a couple of boosters and stuff like that were in there. But we got to know each other better.
And it was before and after the game.
Yeah, before and after. So it was really cool to get to sit down and drink a pop or eat some chili with a parent, get to know each other. So I don't know if Colorado will do something like that in the future, but I thought it was kind of a cool thing to do it that way. But then I also, on the flip side, I understand other, I'll say, challenges that a Power 5 school would have versus a Ivy League school. So I kind of won't go into those because I'm not going to do that. But so some of those dynamics could be a little different. But I think all in all, it could work out. But I think, like I said, that's one of the areas Colorado could improve, and they probably will. They probably will.
So
I don't know if this year or next year.
So basically, some of the things at Dartmouth with the parents, it was just more of an effort to have a space dedicated for them before and after the game.
Yes.
They can mingle with each other, get to know each other.
So,
and we did. It was
and
also,
it was
like they were like a family. Even their team dynamics is. When I say they were brothers in arms, they were brothers in arms. Like, seriously.
What was another thing that was really cool was all the parents had lanyards on, and it was like a big picture of your son, the year he was, whatever year he was,
where he was from,
position. So that way, when you walked up and met a parent, you could see their lanyard, their kid's face is on there. You know what year he's in, and you just kind of start talking a little bit.
Makes a lot.
So it's pretty.
I really think they're going to be going towards that a lot this year.
Yeah.
From what I've known,
I think so. They just got to get some some kinks out, and plus, like I said, it's new. The staff is new. Everything is new.
Yep. What are some of the things maybe I know you can't do too much, but maybe are there some things that maybe you can share from that meeting with us? I guess some good things about it that maybe not too much. I know, but maybe it just
okay. So the first meeting was we got introduced to it was 3 coaches that were there because a lot of coaches are out, recruiting. But we got to meet the rest of the staff, and they just introduced themselves. And because this, it's a lot of new parents, it's a lot of new kids on the team. So it was just a regular meeting, and a couple people asked. Everybody wants to know when is the new DC coming, and we don't have any more information than what you probably already have.
Mm-hmm.
So they're tight-lipped about that.
Hey, except what I'm not going to tell y'all is you probably know what day the spring game's going to be.
Okay.
And tell you, I wish I could, but
gotta stay tuned. You're
probably know what day that is.
It's in April.
Look, mama. Breaking news right here on the BIGGDOGG CHICO Show. Prime parents, the spring game will be in April.
Baby. You don't know.
All in all, I just think that it's good though that they made the effort to reach out to the parents, and they see that nowadays we can connect through Zoom now. It's just like we're face to face, Danny. We can connect now, so let's go ahead and make that happen. So get all these new parents on, let them get introduced to maybe director of player personnel, this person what he does, that person what they do, and know that hey, we're here for you guys. Y'all can contact us like this. Here's our social media and so on, and we're going to continue to do this probably throughout the spring and throughout the summer and throughout the year so that we all can be connected and as a family. And like you said, for that game time experience, I would probably bet, my left pinky that they're going to have something set up for the parents out there, for each and every game coming season. So like you say, it's going to bring about that camaraderie, that family atmosphere for the parents. And, one thing like last year when I was there, you might pass by someone, like you said, with those lanyards on, you might pass by someone. If they're not wearing a lanyard, you don't know who they are. And you could have made a connection right there. And I think that's going to help identify each and everyone, and they can now network with each other. Who knows what can come from that networking? So, yeah. Um, let me see. I think we got 2 or 3 more questions before we get up out of here. Let me read them first, though. Hold on.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. Really, no rush. Friday night, we relaxed, man. Hey, go ahead and run through.
They be setting me up sometimes, y'all. Hey, they set me up sometimes. They say, "Hey, Big Dog Chico, I have a good question," and I click on it. The craziest stuff. So, shout outs for the super chat. Pit Marine said, "For the $5, I appreciate it. What do the parents think of Chef Solomon's food?" Yes, indeed. Shout out to Chef Solomon.
We only ate it like one time, but Shane loves it. Yeah, now we had it one time, it was good, but Shane loves it. Like Shane has nothing but good to say, good things to say about the food for real. Like
he's doing very well in there. Hey, you Big Chico, you remember the old training tables, man? They wasn't looking like what Colorado got now.
Colorado eating lobster and steak and shrimp.
We did steak, but we weren't getting no lobster and tomahawk steaks, nothing. We wasn't saying none of that now.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I don't eat Chick-fil-A now because they Chick-fil-A'd us to death back in school. Back when Chick-fil-A and Big Moon Barbecue is a local barbecue spot in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama.
That's what supporting y'all.
Y'all can, if you like barbecue, go there. Well, trust me, go there. It's good, but I ate it too much. And
hey, that's sponsored.
Solomon, he have different meals each and every day, full course daggone meal.
Yeah. He really does.
Shane. Some others different today.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a picky eater and still eat good there because they've got so many things that you can eat in different things, and you go in there and it's like, man, what do I want to eat today? 4 or 5 different choices of meats and just all different things. So, I mean, it's great for them because you don't have to worry about them guys not eating.
You don't have to worry about not eating.
And they done that. Well, they running it off anyway as much as they run them.
Yeah.
So, but the guys gonna make weight.
You really need it. It's like a diesel engine. You got to keep that engine up, and with the right calories and stuff, not just anything, So, man,
work them hard.
It's really improved now. I'll tell you one thing I did see like that was back in the day. I got recruited by Georgia, and it was the first time I saw, and I think it kind of messed me up in my recruiting because I thought all schools would be like this, but it's the first time I saw like a dedicated weight room or cafeteria for just football players, only football players, and they had big steaks and potatoes and stuff in here. So that was the first real visit I went on, right? So after that, I was thinking, okay, if it's a Division I school, it'll be like this. Hint, I thought UAB.
Not every place,
No. Oh no, Ocho. I thought UAB was gonna be like Georgia. So I was playing basketball at the time. Never forget this. And I could have went on a 4-day trip for my visit at UAB, or I could have taken it because we played a basketball game there. So I could have taken a half-day trip at UAB, then stay there and go play my basketball game and be done. So I went to UAB. We didn't get to go to the cafeteria. We only went to the weight room or locker room and stuff. So I just assumed that the cafeteria was like Georgia. That's what I just saw, right? So, man, no. I was disappointed. So everybody out there, y'all know that, hey, every Division I school is not the same.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Definitely, you're right. They're definitely not the same. But I think they're all doing a lot better nowadays. If you look at some of the different videos that they show like different weight rooms across the country, a lot of schools like what they call a group of 5, they're moving up, at least in their weight rooms and their locker rooms.
The budget's going up. The budget's going up. That money's coming in now. So. I'm happy for these guys nowadays with the NIL deals and things of that nature. I guess we can get into that right quick. What do you guys feel about the NIL and how does it I guess maybe how could it maybe relieve some parents of maybe some financial pressures that maybe you might have? Because I was on scholarship, but I still, was scrapped money.
Oh, I've been there too. Hey,
we couldn't work. But now, these
Yeah.
guys have these
Yeah.
NIL situations, and if you really don't have to call on mama and daddy now,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I like the NIL from that aspect. I think that so NIL is cool, but in my opinion, and over the next year or two, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have revenue sharing. So about 2 months ago, three athletes sued the NCAA. I believe it was like a football player, a golf player, and maybe a soccer player or something like that. That didn't matter what they played. It was the fact that they sued them because they wasn't getting paid. Each person sued the NCAA for $1.45 billion. So not that they're probably going to get that much, but they'll get something. And the NCAA is not going to be able to settle out of court with the big number that is. So I believe going forward, after that case is going to set a precedent, and there's going to be some form of revenue sharing for all across NCAA, or at least for the FBS anyway. It'll, because if you have revenue sharing, and obviously a bigger school is going to have more money than maybe a lower Power Five school would, and those sorts of things. But it'll level out. And then once you have that, then I think it'll be better for the teams. It'll be better for movement, because if everybody's essentially paying pretty much the same, then you won't have that much player movement. And
Right.
then also you'll have everybody on the team that's making money versus 5, 10, 15, 20 kids, however many kids are making money right now. So, I mean, the numbers are going to be great.
Yeah.
If you're at Ohio State or, Georgia or Alabama, you're going to see probably every kid on that team making over $2 million a year, which is the way it should be. I
Right.
mean, I think sometimes people that haven't played sports don't understand, oh, they're young. They shouldn't be making that much money. Well, why not? Because they're generating that much money. So from what I understand, go tell a CEO that he shouldn't be making $50 million a year, because
Yeah.
he's going to laugh at you and kick you out the building.
It-
So I mean, the players are going to be the same thing. Everything involves. See what's Chico. What people don't see is they don't see the players when some well off media you get to see some of it, but they don't see the conditioning, they don't see the weight room, they
mhm.
don't see all the meetings, they don't see all the hours that these guys are given. They're given pretty much 40-hour jobs before the game is even played.
Right.
So they're not understanding that, hey, these guys should have been getting paid. Hey, they love the game, but if everybody's supposed to play free and everybody loves football so much, well, okay, well let's make the coaches, you can coach for free since you love
Right.
it so much. We'll
Yeah.
both play for free.
Yeah.
Let's do it that way instead of you making 10 million and 2 million and this guy's making nothing.
I remember the head coaches getting, even in basketball, the head coaches were getting like shoe deals, right, for them to wear, like, let's say Nikes, and they get millions of dollars, and then the players have to wear them too, but they don't get anything. Like, that don't make sense,
Yep,
dog.
nothing.
Yeah, we're
None.
in a walking,
And everybody's there for the play.
walking billboard for you guys. So, I'm
Mhm.
happy that these things have taken place now, and now you got people, players like Shane and all of them across the board having their jersey, uh, being able to be purchased with their name on the back. I
Yeah,
remember
that's nice.
back in the day they used to have our numbers on there, but not our names on there, and I used to say, everybody
No,
know who that is.
trying to be slick so they wouldn't have to pay us for it.
Yeah, I used to say, everybody
I
know who
was
that
like,
is.
man, listen, let me tell you the craziest thing I think I've seen throughout college football. When my son was up at Syracuse, my oldest son Sean. So can't remember if we went to a game or not, but they had some different different things going on in the Carrier Dome, which is their indoor football field.
Yeah,
So of course we're talking about Syracuse, right? So what number do you think is up at Syracuse all over the place in that football field? Number 44. And for those of you who don't know, that's the great Jim Brown's number.
mm-hmm.
How long has Syracuse been eating off of Jim Brown? How long have they been selling that jersey without Brown on the back of it?
Exactly. My God,
So I mean, it's ridiculous.
eating
Yeah,
full
Yes.
time, full meals. Somebody's
Yes.
eating this, and it's not
Yes.
Jim Brown's family, or for
Yeah.
it wasn't my family. I remember I had this spirit back in the day. I remember seeing jersey with my quarterback number on in the bookstore. Then it had my number. Then it had the other wide receiver number. And I said, man, I'm not buying this. I said, they can't.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
buying this. I said, okay, I got it. I know a shop around the corner that make T-shirts. This shout out to Ruben, Big Ruben Stutter. Y'all remember Big Ruben Stutter in the
Yep. Sure do.
the 205 shirts he had. The shop that made those shirts was right around the corner from our school. I went to that shop. I said, you guys can make me a UAB shirt with my number on it for my family to wear. We'll come buy it from you rather than buying it from the daggone bookstore, because I'm not getting a cut from it.
Oh
Right.
man, listen, I used to get so mad. I used to get so mad. Go back in the day, going to the bookstore. I'm honest truth. I stopped going in there because I got so mad when I saw my number in there. I felt like, man, I should be able to take this whole rack. You get
Yeah.
my number, but you ain't got my name on it.
But as soon as you take that whole rack with your number on it, you're gonna be
my
locked up.
number's my jersey.
You said they gotta make a decision about something that they doing to you. You like, dang, I feel violated, man.
Well, wait a minute. Here's a good one too. Now, God forbid, everybody loves John Madden, right? You or not Madden, it's the college one.
Yeah.
You playing that college game, and there you are on there. You're like, wait a minute, man. Wait a minute.
So
now your name ain't on there.
This is what happened to us. And this was maybe what year is this? Maybe 2010. 10 or 9 is when the O'Bannon brothers had that suit against the NCAA football.
AA,
Yeah. I think they sent me a check for $900, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the payout for the name, image, and likeness for the NCAA football for all those years of using, however long you were on there, using your name, image, and likeness. They paid you a check for that after that settlement. So I think that's why the game has been discontinued until I think coming up this year, they should have them on there. And every player should be compensated something.
Oh, they're gonna have to be now because NIL now, so they'll have to.
Exactly. So, all right, couple more questions. Here we go. What does the COKES think about the Colorado fan base?
I love it.
Yeah, fan base is cool.
It is, and you can't tell when they're losing either, because they are. They got the best fan base ever. They are
fan base.
They great fan base.
Like not a bunch of jerks running around and like that. All people side they're generally pretty cool.
Yeah,
they got a couple of rowdy folks, but that's to be expected. But yeah, all in all, I think the fan base is pretty good.
Yep, agree.
All right. Question for the parents: are you on social media? Can we follow you?
I'm on social media at Curly Head Chick.
Yep.
On Instagram.
My own
he's
what
never,
is my social media? I think it's Sean Coates. My everything mine is Sean Coates and everything.
Nothing.
Yeah, everything is Sean Coates on mine on the Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine.
Sean Coates 09. Let me see if I can pull up mom's
No, just Sean Coates. Sean Coates.
Oh, Sean Coates. And that's mom's Instagram there if y'all want to follow right now and check out the website, like I said, and support her brand that she has and the t-shirts that she has on there. A lot of dope merch on there also. What was the determining factor for Shane to stay at CU?
I think it was like I say, it was just him wanting to get his stock as high as possible. So like I said, when he left Dartmouth, he was graded as a 5th round draft pick. So he's trying to jump up to the 1st round. So that's his goal. He felt like his numbers weren't quite what they needed to be in the 1st round. So he wants to come back this year so he can get a 1st round, 2nd round at the latest.
Exactly. And I think he's right there on his way for that 6'4", as the parents said, not 6'3". 6'4", 5 pounds. The big man with the brains and the athletic ability actually worked or should I say intern, a paid intern on Wall Street. Yes, you guys didn't know that. You learned that right here on Prime Parents. That's why.
And they offered him a job.
Yeah.
And they
still had the offer out there. They deferred it for him because they know he's playing football.
I was about to say if I know they're a smart company. I don't think that offer is gone. I bet you it's still there. And like you said,
No, it's still there.
yes,
Nice little piece of change too. You
Yes.
know, walk through the door, nice little piece of change, almost 6 figures. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
goodness gracious. So that's what happens, kids out there. You're listening, moms, parents, dads, you're listening out there. Make sure your kids get their academics. It's not just about playing sports. You got to understand what you're doing. Don't let them go to college and be taking just softball classes. They already know how to play softball.
Yes.
Simply don't.
Right.
Just don't. I mean,
And then also, if your grades are tight and you keep them really good, everybody ain't gonna play Division 1 Power 5 football. It's just not gonna happen. So that it's cool if you play Division 2, if you play Division 3, that's fine because guess what? You're gonna get a free education, no student loans. You're gonna walk out that door with a degree in your hand and a great start on life. If you keep your grades really tight, you know you can get into Ivy League school and play some football there. Some great football played there. You'll get a great education, of one of the best educations in the world.
Yep.
So meet a lot of great people. So you know, just I'd tell for parents, man, just don't think Division 1 or bust. There's a lot of great programs, a lot of great smaller schools. That'll be you know, it'll be great for you know, great for your kid.
Real quick, because you said something right there. You're going to meet a lot of great people, especially playing football, and you're going to have a lot of connections. Can you talk about relationships and how important relationships are in moving forward in your professional career or life or whatever it is you're doing? How important are relationships?
Relationships are very important. It's like that saying when people say, "Well, I'd rather be um, lucky than good any day of the week." Well, relationships can be the same way because um, a lot of times when people get a good job, they know somebody that knows somebody, and those relationships that you've made in the past, they can help you in the future.
Mm.
Of course, as you know, you assume that Shane has made some great relationships in Colorado and in Dartmouth. I don't want to start name dropping, but he's great relationships with a lot of great people, a lot of great contacts. So if that's what he wants to do after football, then a simple phone call to somebody that you've known, you know, all throughout college, you know, you're set. You know, you're set for life, and you're gonna walk in the door, you know, doing very well for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, shouts out to all of the siblings. Shouts out to Blake in the chat. Blake
I
said
know. I done seen her in there, Big Chico.
she's saving that phone.
I know.
she said if she had $1 for every time somebody thought she was a what she said, a white male, a Caucasian male, by looking at her name, she'd be rich. Shouts out to her, man. And I appreciate Shane for allowing this to happen and you know, saying, you know, giving the green light for me to reach out to you guys and saying that, you know, he's cool with having you guys on here. And I thank you guys for willing to come on here and speak with me and have this open and candid conversation and speak about your son and just getting to know him a lot better. And hopefully, you know, maybe at the spring game or whatever, you know, I can run into you guys. We can meet at
No
that
doubt.
Yep.
Yeah,
parent,
definitely.
you know, that's going to be
Yes.
Yeah,
set up,
definitely. Yeah, no
and,
doubt. No doubt.
and probably have you guys come back on for the round table, and you know we can have some discussions with other parents also, and have a successful season coming up. And we're always rooting for Shane and everything he's doing on and off the field, even after he's done with this season. So lifelong fans and lifelong supporters, we appreciate you guys. I can't leave without doing this though. I always give my guests a chance to shout out all their people, fans, supporters, family, church members, cousins, aunties, dogs, and cats. Everybody, give shout outs.
Listen, well, I noticed. Thanks for all the fam that tune in the chat because I seen you moderating.
And listen, you got I think you got one follower on the shout out. I didn't catch his name. I think his name is Big Mike. He his brother used to play God rest his soul, used to play with me at UC. His name is Andre Sherrod.
Mm.
And listen, Man, I know he listening. Man, listen, I can't even go into none of the stories with me and Dre. Man, that guy was one of the coolest. Brooklyn, New
Right
York.
there, right
Right.
there.
I see Brooklyn, New York. Man, I wish I could tell him some of the stories on here about me and his brother. Man, we used to have a good time in UC. Put it like that.
Who was the coach you played under at UC?
Tim Murphy. Yeah, Coach Murphy is up at Harvard right now.
Coach Murphy.
Yeah,
Harvard made Shane an offer too.
all of
Yeah,
them did.
yeah, all
Yeah,
the
all of
Ivy
them
Leagues
did.
made
Yeah.
Shane an offer.
What was some of his like what was his GPA grade point averages coming out of high school, and what was some of his awards and accomplishments coming out of high school?
He was in the National Honor Society. Shane had what a 3.8,
Yeah.
3.8 coming, but he was in all AP classes,
Mm.
and the grading scale in the high school he went to was a little higher than the public schools in the area. Shane has just always been smart. He had a 3.8 at Dartmouth, and he also, I don't know if you knew, but he graduated early from Dartmouth. He graduated in 3.5 years at Dartmouth.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So he went.
And I'll tell you what. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he went in that thing super focused, not playing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the same characteristics he's shown, like you said, since he was younger. Just that same.
He went to school every year straight, except for they were at Dartmouth. They required you to do a internship, so that's the only summer that he was not in school. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. He just a little bit more to the same thing background wise. When Shane came out of high school, he had about 23 or 24 offers, if I remember. He had some group of five offers and all the Ivy Leagues and some more schools. And he wanted obviously to go Power Five, had a couple of Big Ten schools that he liked and liked him, but they didn't offer him. Did everything. This is another lesson some of you parents will want you to learn because um, there's a lot of things before you get that um, offer that you can take. Say it that way, because they got offers that you can take and you can't take.
Mhm.
But went through that whole gambit. Went to the line with two really good Big Ten programs, and when he didn't get those offers, he just felt like, well, I don't really care about. I got to play Division One FBS. So he decided to go to Dartmouth FCS school because of the education mostly. So which it was a great it was a great decision. Uh, great he had a great time up there.
He had a great coach.
Yeah, great coach, man. R.I.P. to Buddy Stevens, man. A great coach at Dartmouth who passed this year. He had an accident
Last
on a
year.
bike. He rode bikes all the time and got hit in those. You probably heard that story, but great dude. God rest his soul. Man, one of the best people I've ever known in my life. Just a really good dude. But I say that just to say with Shane's experience that back to the Power Five thing, because you know how it go. A lot of high schools, want to go Power Five, which is cool, but everybody's not going to play Power Five. Everybody can't play Power Five, which is fine. Get in where you fit in, because you might go to the Power Five school and they don't show you no love, even though you're there. Versus you go to a smaller school and they show you all the love and they love you to death. So, just you got to keep that in mind. What the decision is. Who's playing your position, how many people are at that spot, the roster. And just kind of look at all those things and where you're going to be able to get on the field at. So parents just understand that aspect, that just because it's a smaller school doesn't mean it can't be a great experience for you and your son or daughter.
Most definitely. That's what you hit it on the head. That's the reason why I went to the school I went to, UAB, as opposed to some of the SEC schools. I felt like I can go here and get lost in the sauce and I can go here and I can bring my sauce, and I can be the sauce.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's it.
Uh,
Yeah.
Speaking of sauce, I didn't ask you one time about probably the sauciest and the swaggiest player of our generation, of our time, who is now his coach, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Were you guys able to meet him? How was it? Even with Shane decided to go there, how has that energy been around Coach Prime?
Yeah, Prime's a good dude. I'm a I'm a type dude that like celebrities don't do it for me. So they regular dudes just like I am. They put their pants like on one leg at a time. So he's a good dude. Talk to him, like him. Um, well uh, well prepared guy. That was what I thought when I first met him.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks out all his decisions and thoughts. I can tell that he's a guy that's in thought a lot. He's not just folks in prime time and that's all good, but he's a dude that thinks before he opens his mouth up, and I like that about him.
Yeah.
So the experience has been good. Shane likes him, and I think every year that he's at Colorado, he's just going to get even better and better.
Yes.
Yeah, and what you see with him is what you get. Like what you see is really what you get. He is neon Deion as, as he used to be.
Shouts out to Chris Berman. That's what Chris Berman used to say. Neon
Yeah.
D.
Deion.
Shouts out to Chris Berman, man. He was the greatest, man.
Yeah, he is. He's the greatest.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely.
And shouts out to the whole staff that Coach Prime has put together. Great thing to see them reaching out to the parents once again. Okay, I won't leave y'all. I won't hold y'all any longer this time. All right, we've been on this.
You good?
What I've ever done as far as Prime go. So thank y'all. This is the longest one. We got a lot of stuff.
Good. Hey, we just chopping it up. It's Friday night, man.
Friday night. It is Friday night. Hey, we got a lot of stuff to go through. If you guys just tuning in, you could rewind this and go back through it. Of course, I'll take and I'll chop it up. Probably the first one I'll put out there is Shane Cokes. Maybe I'll say Wall Street, Colorado Buff, something like that. But what other school has a Wall Streeter on their team? You know what I mean? And someone with a current offer to go work on Wall Street. So, yeah, Shane Cokes is a guy on another level. We knew that when he came in, and we appreciate him. And we're just looking forward for him to continue to do big things like he came in there doing and started off and being a leader for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. So go ahead, and I know I had 3 closings, like somebody said, like a Baptist preacher. They said I'm a Baptist preacher. I said we leave it 3 times.
I do want to say one more thing. Shane is going to be releasing a blog in a couple weeks. Yes, so he's a very deep thinker, and a lot of people don't know he's an excellent writer too. So just put that on his resume.
The blog is going to be non-football, isn't it?
It's non-football. Yeah. So
a non-football blog. Gosh, it's called Throwing Rocks
at Tanks.
Yeah.
Throwing Rocks at Tanks. Check that out on Instagram. Throwing Rocks at Tanks, and that's.
But he's going to have a website. So once he just hasn't published it yet. So the website is up. He just hasn't hit go. He's so meticulous, and he's reading this over and I said, boy, just release it. It's fine.
But he want to get it right. I understand. So thank you guys once again. Thank y'all. Well, I think we're gonna end it this evening. Yes.
Hey, Big Chico, all thing you didn't do pass collection plate, man.
Hey. You might be speaking too soon now, Deacon. The collection right now. We like the type of money that jingles, but we'd rather get the type that folds.
There you go. That's it. Hey, some of the black churches, we pass it twice.
Oh, that's mandatory. We passing it twice. And you better not let it pass by you twice and not putting that in it twice. Come on now.
Right.
The leader of the usher board gonna get you.
Yes, sir.
My God. So thank you. I really appreciate this. Y'all don't understand. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure getting to meet you guys, and hopefully we can connect again soon. Once again.
Yeah, good to
Thanks
talk
for
to you. Good
having
talking
us.
to you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Another edition of Prime Parents. We're gonna get up out of here. The church has adjourned. We can get up out. Play my music, please.
Yes, sir.
Choir. Young people choir, old people choir. All right. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
All right.
Good
You
night.
too.